Rick Harsh. This is my booktube, and you can skip it in 3 days. Today, this is what I'm going to do is kind of a publisher's book haul. Booktubers like to do book hauls. People like to look at book hauls. And as a publisher, I picked up 300 books today, and we're going to go through both of them. Actually, it's 150 copies each of Wandering Stone, The Streets of Old Isola, and that's by me. And Jeff Bursey's, his name is in blue here. It's kind of hard to see, but it actually looks very nice. There you can see with the light. It's a very classy looking cover. I like it a lot. An Impalpable Certain Rest, which is a book of, I think, was it 11 or 13 short stories? That's very nicely put together. Since the way it's put together is much more typically important with a book with lots of photographs, we'll start with this one. Okay, first of all, I like the cover. I don't know if you're getting enough light here. We'll move this way, and you'll see it a little bit better. It's a deep blue. There's a line of light blue, and then there's the little golden electricity line. Maybe, I don't know what it is. No, it doesn't look like electricity. It looks maybe I don't know, ground or whatever. On the side, we've got my logo. All right, that seems to be my, logo place. But again, you have the logo here. I really like that they use the logo twice. And what you have are a series of very short statements, which I like. You have this book, briefly described, and intelligently and accurately. I've read a couple of the stories now, just today. In the gloom of marginal lives, the haunted men and women of an impalpable certain rest are menaced by and fighting against the corrosive power of illusions and their own half-understood natures. Apart from the intensity of these psychologically oppressive stories and their provocative, unsettling effect, what most astonishes in this collection are the intermittent, unexpected flashes which could be hope or delusion. It's pretty nice, and that's it. You don't have a, which I like a lot. Now and then you get praise for Jeff Bursey. I don't want to read the whole back, okay? I won't read the whole back, but I got to say this. I'll read the whole back. He is continuing in the tradition of the modernists here, a group who struggled to make sense of a broken world. The Literary Review. And then a Canadian writer, I believe, Gabrielle Blackwell, said, it's horrifying and funny and completely engaging. And this is my favorite part is this. Jeff Bursey is the author of the richly unorthodox novels Verbatim, a novel, Mirrors on Which Dust Has Fallen, an Unidentified Man at Left of Photo. Centering the margins, essays and reviews collect some of his literary criticisms. But that richly unorthodox, how beautifully put. He was the one who got me to start. He offered a new way of saying what people are doing these days, exploratory. We're all tired of the word experimental, and I think most of us are tired of most of the words that people use for modern novels. Because they are, after all, modern novels. They aren't postmodern, unless we're all dead, I think. Because, a lot of, like Gaddis, he's pre-me. I don't mean pre-me, but he's pre-me. So the postmodern, everybody has thought that, and I don't know why we can't stop saying it, but I like the exploratory. And richly unorthodox is a very good description. Although the differences between his three novels are tremendous, but they're all richly unorthodox. So That's really nice. I've read two stories, which takes me up to page, I think I'm near 100, because the first one was a longer one, 73. The second one was one of the shorter ones. And let me see where that took me to. So, yeah, I'm on page 93, the third story, Reliance. But I'm not doing a book review, so I won't tell you about those two stories other than that they were engaging and, yeah, psychologically oppressive. Um, uh, the more so, the longer one, but it's easier to be psychologically oppressive in a longer one. And I'm not sure that was what the intent of the other one was. Um, but it, the the characters are drawn through dialogue extremely with extreme certainty, like line drawings or whatever. That people who are really great at it can make exactly what they want. He does that with his dialogue here, which is, um, I think the most I want to say after just two stories. I don't know how the hell I'm going to review short stories. I don't read a lot of them, but I can tell that I'm going to read all of these very, in the near future, in the coming days. So anyway, the other thing I wanted to say, that I love the way that this was laid out on the page. You've got okay. Here's your title, and of course it's comes down to here, right? Because it's the first page. But when you turn the page, look at the upper margin. I love it. I love it. It's a nice touch for me. Now, normally I don't like what they call ragged right, but somehow it fits with this. It's just so pleasant to read. And with that, I'm going to take you to a book that's less pleasant to read. My own. Why is it less pleasant to read? Well, because it's more, actually, it's because it's more artistic. The font is at times a little difficult to read. It's not very big, but it's also the kind of font it is. I'm not a font master, but the designer of the book is a man named Francisco Tomsic, and he's from Uruguay, but he's half Slovene, and he lives here. And with the photographer, his wife, a German woman who took 275 photographs. There's 275 photographs in this pocket book of 216 pages. It's amazing. Black and white photos, so that we could afford to print the book. This is the work of the designer. The photographer, I don't know. I mean, I think there's so many good photos in here. The last version of this book, I took the photos, and not only was the design crap, but the photos were crap as well. I mean, you look at a photo of an old historic town and you think, oh, how good looking that town is, and look at that architectural marvel. But when a real photographer gets at it, then you also might say, nice photo. With mine, you didn't say nice photo. You said, oh, good looking town, or nice looking building, or funny looking man. That kind of thing. This one has just what I would like the photos to be, and that's why it's great. I like that wall there. Probably it's hard for you to tell here, but when I take a picture of a wall, I take a picture of a wall. So probably there was no sky. It was just a block wall. And she frames this very nicely. You can see that it's an interesting effect on this street that I talk about here. past this wall, you turn right, and then you see that you've got another left before you come to the end of the street, which is on the street on the other side of this arch. And this captures that effect very well. And it also captures the effect of very, very simple architecture that adheres or agglomerates, I should say, into a beautiful Venetian architectural marvel of a town. This was just a poor fishing village, and of course it's got that. They all have that. But our photographer captures the wisp of a cloud there. Let me see if I can find without too much trouble. It's on the next page. Okay, yeah. And this is what it looks like in a puddle. Great photos, great photo, great photo. This is only one photo, yeah. Not too many are split by the page of all the photos. It has to happen now and again. And one thing some of us don't like is maps that have that. But in a book this size, how are you going to have a map if you don't do that? You know, the map would be so small that there are little numbers on here that mark certain places from the text, and it would be pretty hard to do that if the map was half this size, you know, so that would fit here. But back to the font, the designer used a combination of old Germanic fonts, and it's just gorgeous to look at. He also had to, because it's Germanic, it doesn't have the sh, ch, j letters in our alphabet, the Slovene alphabet. And so whenever I had to use a Slovene, there's Kaji Potna Street, there's a Z with a ch on top of it. And he would have to put it in by hand. He had to change the font in the middle of the page a couple of times for various reasons, the size of the font. But he does it without it being too obvious. And it's I don't know, I guess, you know, the good thing is that it's a book to be read piecemeal. You know, it's not a book to sit down and rush through, because I talk about every single street in the old city. And that's in back. This is done Slovene style, which I think is. We didn't really discuss it, and so I was surprised when I saw that they did it that way. But I like it. In Slovenia, you put your in Slovene books, you put your colophon on the back. Okay, and also the table of contents is called an index. And so the table of contents, the index, and it's also in the back. So you have that in the back. I like the black, you know, it's black and white photos. So you have, okay, the cover is repeated, and then black, and then the book starts with the dedication, and then the next page is your title page. Now that is just, I showed it to you already, but it's really grand. Now I didn't go to get this today, but since the elephant stomping Steven Seagal on top of elephants, twin Steven Seagals on top of elephants stomping through the literary world, carrying Philip Friedenberg and Jeff Walton's Friedenberg author, Walton illustrator, carrying America and the Cult of the Cactus Boots, a diagnostic across the world. Since that, we also had Bill Clark's, W.D. Clark's, She Sang to Them, She Sang. Yet another subtle masterpiece of a cover. You know, that I think I did a review of this book. But I just want to add this in because, you know, after a big book like that, You know, we did start with the idea of pocketbooks, but we also started with big books that couldn't be pocketbooks. So most of our books are pocketbooks, or more than two-thirds maybe. So now we've followed the big elephant tiasis of thought and literature called Cactus Boots, with three marvels, and all three different. And as I see the color schemes now, I'm thinking we need some red. I don't know what the next cover is going to look like. I think the next book is going to be. I hope I get the title right. I always fuck it up. I had that problem with An Impalpable Certain Rest too. Couldn't say it right. Now I've got it. But the other one is Bedraggling Grandma with Russian Snow. I think with Russian Snow, by the Portuguese writer Jose Reis. And I don't know what the cover is going to be yet. I think it's done. I think he wrote me today and said it's done. But I really hope it's, you know, it offsets these with some crimson, some bloody red. Would probably be good. I think we need it. And if we don't get it, then my next novel is in the. I mean, I wrote it a while back, but it's an introduction is being written, and that'll be ready in a few weeks. And I'll make damn sure that at least has a red spine. Okay, if Jose's doesn't. That's coming soon. So here are the two books that I picked up today. This one just keeps jumping around. You know, I finished reading it, and it's all edgy. Like, did you like me? Did you like me? Yeah, I did. I loved you, and I told people that. And then there's these. I'd like to say more about both, but I guess I won't. So that's a book haul for the chief editor of coronasamas.press. All our pocketbooks are 10 euros, and, you know, that's, except one, but, you know, if you want to spend 10, fine, I don't care. It's the the trilogy, the Driftless trilogy, that was 15, started at 16.50. I've sold it for 5, 10, 15. I think 10 is fair, you know, and it costs a little more to mail because it's a block. It's heavy. Anyway, I didn't write the conclusion.